let's say I'm the spouse where I want to pursue my dream. I've always wanted to be a rock and roll like musician. Okay. That's my dream. That is what I want to do.
First of all, you're gonna need a lot of work.
That's a long journey.
Zero musical talent.
No musical talent, but that's what I want to do.
Okay.
I want to try it. I want to do it. Right. And I want to dedicate my time and my life towards pursuing that goal. And I'm going to tell you that, right? Like as my significant other, I need you to support me in that path. So, so I want to be a rock and roll star. Now what? You would be willing to work and I would be working on my craft.
Yeah.
Even if it's not making income for the household. And you'd be okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. For how long?
I would give you 3 years.
Wait, would you be the one telling me how long? Or do you think it would be the person that has the dream telling you?
I think it should be a compromise. But on our end, it would probably be me.
It would probably be you.
Welcome to the Magnetic Mismatch Show. This is Linda.
And this is Will. Hope everybody's weekend is going well.
Yeah.
Ours is. It's Sunday.
Yeah.
End of the weekend.
Yeah. And we've been overindulging this week.
I'm happy. My tummy is really happy.
Yeah, my stomach is happy too.
For sure. Will we have another weekend like this next week?
Probably not.
Yeah, you'll be busy.
Yeah, it's a busy weekend.
All right. Well, what are we talking about today?
My spouse doesn't support my dreams.
Yes, I do. All the time.
I know you do. I mean, we're lucky in that sense.
We are.
Is that we both support each other's dreams and, you know, within reasons, right? We've been very reasonable.
Sure.
But it doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah. And what prompted this topic was because we saw a story that someone posted on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to share a little bit about it? And I'll kind of jump in as well.
Yeah. So basically, this guy has a passion project that it's not generating income or very little income. It's a nonprofit. And I believe it helps a lot of people, which is great.
Yeah, that's really good.
Right. But the fact that it's not generating any income, the wife threatens to leave him with their kids.
Yeah, because it's starting to impact the family, right? Because the business or the passion project isn't creating the financial security that I think she expects. Yeah.
And that's tough too, because I could see it from both standpoint.
Yeah.
I think for her, you know, as a mother, right, the thing she's protecting, you know, her first priorities is to protect the kids.
Yeah.
Right. I think their security and well-being is, you know, her first priority. And I could see where he's coming from too, where maybe he knows something that she doesn't. Maybe, you know, that project of his is going to start generating money and they're very close to that, or, you know, he sees like the potential of it, but it just needs a little bit more time.
So do you think in this case, because I think there's not enough details, right? There's a lot of questions that we don't know.
Yeah.
Like how long has he been trying this passion project? Is it brand new, or is it something he's been doing for like 5 years, 10 years and not getting results?
Yeah.
But in this specific case, like, could we say that the spouse is in the wrong, or like that she's not supportive?
I think it depends on the situation. Like you said, how long has he been doing this project? And the other question is, how close are they to, you know, living on the streets or losing their house? Like, I really don't know.
That's true.
There's so many questions up in there, but, you know, or it's missing details. Like, was he responsible? And, you know, maybe he set up a savings aside through the years of working so he can take off, you know, this moment to work on their passion project, his passion project. Maybe
I
he has the financial means to do it, and they're yeah, just because they're losing money every month doesn't mean that he's gonna put his family on the streets.
yeah, I guess we don't know, right?
We just don't
Because
know enough details.
yeah, because like from the wife's perspective, clearly something is causing her to worry about their financial security. So either in maybe like you said, maybe there is some money, but he's not telling her about it, or maybe she's only looking at the business or whatever the passion project not generating income.
Hmm.
So she might not know what's going on, and that's why she feels like she has to make an ultimatum for him, right? Like it's the family or the passion project. But I don't think she's necessarily like not being supportive per se, right? It's more of like she could be supportive. Maybe she has been supportive for a while, but now it's like you were saying, it's like, well, we could be on the streets. Like, at what point do you say you're a supportive spouse, and
Yeah.
where do you draw the line, right?
Yeah. I think it has to be a compromise, because I think it's very selfish. Let's say, let's, because we don't know enough about the
Yeah.
story, but
So we
let's
can talk
just,
more general.
yeah. So let's just say that if he continues this passion project full time, right?
Okay. He dedicates everything, all his hours towards it.
Yeah, and it puts them at a high risk of losing their home, or financial security
They
for
can't
the
pay their
kids.
bills.
Exactly. Then I think that's kind of selfish on his part too,
Hmm.
because why does she have to put her security at risk? And maybe she has dreams of her own. Maybe it's her turn. If
Yeah.
he's been working on this for 5 to 10 years, maybe it's her turn. Maybe she wants to go back
Hmm.
to work. Or maybe she has a passion project of her own, or maybe to her, the security of her kids is top priority.
Right.
So for him to take that away from her to work on, something that makes him happy only, I
Right.
think
Right. Right.
that's selfish.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's clearly an issue of miscommunication too, right? Where they're not on the same page. Um, because like you said, it could be him just focusing on his wants and basically saying, forget everybody else. I don't care how like this makes everybody else feel, as long as I'm getting satisfaction because this is my passion, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of like the excuse almost,
Yeah.
which I get. I mean, you should definitely go after your dreams and your goals, but at the same time, at what cost, right? And if you have a significant other that's in with you on that journey, it's fair that they kind of need to know, like, what's going on, but also, are they on the same boat as you, right? Do they view things the same way?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one. So,
Yeah. It's a tough one. I think it comes down to um, really just communicating with each other,
yeah.
right? Because I believe in every situation there's always a compromise
Hmm.
between the two.
It's coming back to that C word, communication. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe maybe she just doesn't understand your passion project. Maybe it'll be helpful if you kind of include her or him
Yeah.
into what you're working on and the potential that it has, and get them excited with you.
Yeah. Yeah. That way they feel like they're part of whatever you're pursuing versus like feeling like I'm your spouse, so I have to, or your significant other, and I'm obligated to support you no matter what. Right. But they're not really clear on like, well, what am I actually supporting? It's like, I support you, whatever it is you're doing. But then I think it helps when they know what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And setting an expectation of if you're gonna go down that path, what what timelines are there? What levels of progress are there that you can actually see so that you can measure like, where are we in this process, or is this just going nowhere, right?
Yeah. Because when you have a passion project, there's always some types of sacrifices, right? Either
Yeah.
it's a financial sacrifice, a time sacrifice with the family. There's
Yeah.
always something's got to go when you're
Right.
taking on a new project, especially a passion project, a business, whatever it is. Your spouse has to give up something.
Yeah. And if that's where it starts, right? You both need to kind of have a discussion of what's important. And maybe like in this case, if the spouse isn't supporting your dreams, you probably need to ask them like what is bugging them in the first place, right? Like you were saying, is it the money? Like, are they feeling insecure about the money issue? Is it time away from the family, time away from each other? Like, what's causing them to feel that way, where they're not supportive of whatever it is you're doing?
Yeah. And how long is this project going to go on for?
Yeah, is
I mean,
there
is
a
there a
timeline?
deadline?
Yeah.
Because if there isn't, it's kind of it might feel endless to the spouse, and she may start resenting you for it. But if you give her a timeline, at least she knows, okay, fine. Within 3 years, if things doesn't work out, or 5 years if things doesn't work out, at least there's an end to
So
this.
let's use an example. Let's say I'm the spouse where I want to pursue my dream. I've always wanted to be a rock and roll like musician. Okay. I want to, that's my dream. That is what I want to
First
do.
of all, you're gonna need a lot of work. You
That's a
have
long
zero
journey.
zero
I have
musical
no
talents.
musical talent, but that's what I want to do. I
Okay.
want to try it. I want to do it. Right. And I want to dedicate my time and my life towards pursuing that goal. And I'm going to tell you that, right? Like, as my significant other, I need you to support me in that path. So, so I want to be a rock and roll star. Now what?
So now I think,
You're the spouse.
yeah. So there's a lot of questions that can come up. Is, as a rock and roll star, there's going to be touring
Hmm.
involved. And
So like I'll be physically away from the family.
yeah, do we have kids?
Yeah, let's say we have one or two kids.
Okay. And how long are you going to be gone for?
I mean, I'll probably be, well, let's say
How long
since
are
I'm
these
just starting,
tours?
I'm not going to be probably on tour since I'll be starting. Let's say I'm like, right now, I'm just beginning my journey. And let's assume I have some musical talent, all right? At least that like I'm not like starting from nothing. Let's say I know how to play a damn instrument at least,
Okay,
okay?
okay.
Gosh. All right, so I know how to play an instrument and let's say I have some talent, okay? Because I think that's more realistic. Why am I pursuing something where I have absolutely no talent in? I think the majority of people would pursue something only if like at least they see some potential, right?
Yeah.
But let's say I have some musical talent, and this is what I want to do, and I've expressed that to you, and I expect you as my spouse to support me on my journey. What would your concerns be, or what do you think would be healthy to kind of think about and ask, or like what would the conversation look like?
Yeah. I think my concern would be, because, if we had a kid, my concern would be,
You think
okay,
security right off?
security. Yeah. Are we going to be able to afford?
I gotta play with my band. I gotta practice, right?
Yeah,
Like
I
if
know.
I'm, yeah.
That's why. So can we afford not having your income?
What if, okay, so yeah, I think that's a good place, right? Like maybe if that's the concern for the spouse, then I would be, and I want to have my dream still. I think it's fair that I would also still make sure I'm fulfilling my obligation to my family too, right? To provide that security
Hmm.
by generating an income through a job somewhere, right?
Okay. That's
Is
good.
that fair?
That's fair.
Versus I could also go the other direction and say, well, how about you support me while I'm working on my dream financially? Is that okay? Would you be
um.
okay with that? And we're talking about it right now.
Okay. Then who's gonna take care of the kid?
We'll have the parents, kind of chime in and help out.
Is the parents gonna be okay with that?
I don't know. We haven't talked to them.
So
Is
I
that on the
think,
table?
yeah, you have to talk to them first. I think you have to basically talk to every party that's gonna be involved in making your dreams happen. Right.
Ah, that's true.
It's not just you and the spouse. If
You can't go it alone, right?
Yeah, exactly. As far as working goals, for at least for me personally, you know, I've always been a go getter, so that's not an
So
issue.
you would be willing to work, and
Yeah,
I would be working on my craft,
yeah,
even if it's not making income for the household. And you'd
yeah,
be okay with that?
yeah.
Okay. For how long?
I would give you 3 years.
Wait, would you be the one telling me how long, or do you think it would be the person's dream, the person that has the dream telling you?
I think it should be a compromise, but on our end, it would probably be me.
It would probably be you. You'd be like, all right, you have fine, you could go for it. You could try it, but you've got like 24 months to make this thing happen
Yeah,
or make a
but
certain.
that's just my personality. Right?
Yeah, and that's why we're saying we're having a little fun with this, but it's like it's going to depend on each couple, of course, right?
Exactly.
And like, because I know some people that would probably be like, you know what, I'm going to support you no matter what,
Yeah,
even if we're in financial ruin, I'll still be there for you. That I'm like, dang, dude,
yeah,
that's I don't know. I mean, I admire that, but at the same time, kind of like it's hard, right? Especially if we had kids in the mix. You're not just thinking about you might be okay with that, but what about your kids? Are you okay having them come along with you to live on the streets? I don't know.
yeah.
It's a difficult one.
It's a
And
difficult one.
yeah, so let's say going back to that same example, since I'm a musician now, um, why are you having so much fun with this? So I'm a musician, and I'm like, you know what? Let's say you give me 3 years, and in 3 years, I guess we would have agreed on like what kind of milestone or where I need to be progress wise, right? Let's maybe you'd be like, all right, by this point, you need to have what? What kind of metric are you looking at?
You need to better be generating something.
So making money off of like gigs or something like that, or
Yeah, gigs, shows.
so I have to at least generate a certain income for you to feel secure or like I'm pulling my weight
Yeah,
for the family.
at least half.
At least in our case, that would for you. It would probably as a spouse to feel like you are able to support me on my dream. You need to feel financially secure, right?
Yeah.
What if like, okay, that's fine. I think that's a lot of people is what if the finance part is okay? We're making money now, right? But I'm not quite where I need to be. But because of my passion, like let's say now I'm like, all right, I can tour now and I'm going to different cities and stuff like that.
hmm How long are you going to be away from the family?
Uh I don't know. Wherever, let's say multiple times a year.
And how long is every session?
I don't know. It could be weeks at a time. Let's just
You,
assume it's weeks at a time.
you know
Because you got to
that's
travel and you got to stay at hotels
that's
and
not
stuff
gonna
like
fly
that.
with me. I need to know a schedule. You can't give me a proposal and not know the exact details. Then I would definitely.
We're using this as an example.
I would definitely just shut you down.
Let's say 6 months out of the year,
Okay.
I'll be gone. And yeah, out of like gone, like on tour, and I'm doing it for the family, dude. I'm working. I'm getting our brand out, our name out. That's the path. Like,
Sorry,
what if
just imagining you as a musician.
what like a long hair
Yeah.
and like
I just can't. But anyway, back to the example. So can I come with you on tour?
no.
Why?
Because how does that work? We have kids. The kids need to go to school.
It's called homeschooling.
Oh shoot.
Are you trying to run away from the family?
You know what? That's a good question, right? Like maybe that's the compromise. Maybe if like we were saying, to involve the spouse, to integrate them with your
Yeah.
passion, maybe that helps a lot, right? That could ease some of the tension. What if like you as a spouse, maybe you were feeling emotionally insecure and part of the reason you're not supportive of my dream in this specific example is because you're worried like what's this going to do to our relationship? Maybe we'll grow apart. I mean, not being physically there for a relationship, that's hard.
Yeah.
And you can't deny that will impact the relationship,
Yeah.
negatively.
And especially like long periods of time.
Right. There's a trust factor too, right?
Yeah, that's hard. So I think you just need to compromise on okay. So when are we gonna see each other?
Mhm. And it depends on the spouse, right? Somebody might be like super chill, like the wife might be really like you know what,
You
go
know,
for it.
knowing me, I probably do spa day
Yeah,
all the time.
take your time, and they don't need that as much. So it depends on the person, right? There's
Yeah.
so many parts to this.
I think that's why it has to be tailored, you know, to you and your
Yeah.
spouse.
But the very fact, I mean, just talking about it, you can see like it can go so many directions, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's why it needs to happen. It needs to start there is by having a conversation and like making sure that they know what your dream is, right? Like your spouse needs to know what your dream actually is and what are the expectations
Yeah.
as you pursue that dream.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, it's always nice to have, you know, your spouse or significant other support you on your dreams, right? Because it gives you kind of like an external self-esteem boost or, you know, confidence. Yeah, it
Yeah, we
really
all need
does.
that.
That someone believes in me.
Right.
But, you know, not everyone will see your dreams the way, or your project, you know, the way you do. And I think it's okay that your spouse or significant other doesn't
Get it. Yeah.
support or get it, right? But as long as I feel like
They believe in you though,
they believe in you.
and they want to be there, I think, for you, like
Yeah.
to be an open ear, right, for them to
Yeah.
vent and stuff.
Yeah, they don't have to constantly just, you know,
Hey, what's going
cheer
on?
on the project, but
Yeah.
you know, as long as they're there for you, to just listen to you, I think that's more than enough for
But
me.
but that what about like what we're talking about though? If in that case, like you've been transparent, you kind of said, hey, this is what my dream is, but your spouse for whatever reason isn't cool with it.
Yeah.
They're not like, you know, like I don't want to support you on this, or I don't see your dream the same way. I don't, you know, think your dream is gonna uh, is gonna be helpful for our family or whatever.
But sometimes you kind of have to prove your spouse wrong, right?
So you got to show them,
Show some results.
show some results.
Prove your
It's hard,
dreams.
right? You can't not expect somebody that's true, right? Where just believe in me and my goals, right? When you haven't done anything to really show like you're serious about this,
Yeah.
because people say stuff all the time, right?
Yeah, and I think, you know, like the example, we don't know enough, but what if the guy is putting them putting their his family into financial
Ruin.
ruins, right? So in that way, that's very selfish too. But there's always a compromise. In his case, maybe, you know, if that is the case, maybe he can work full time or part time, and you know, do his side
Passion project is a side hustle.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be all in.
That's true.
I feel like.
Yeah, because I think the problem is, I think in that example of the person, the problem tells me that, or it shows me that maybe there wasn't any communication to lead up to that point where the wife is making an ultimatum like that. Like that means she's fed up. That means there hasn't been communication all this time in terms of what's going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody just gets frustrated and has had enough. And again, I'm not saying it's her fault at all,
No.
right? She has every right to be upset if financial security is at risk, and you know he doesn't understand that. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're trying to say is don't let it get to that point, and it starts right from the beginning of having transparency, as always, having communication and open dialogue about setting things, I think, up with the right expectations, and that way you don't get disappointed down the road when like things go off the, you know, rails or whatever, doesn't go the way you plan.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you think of anything else that, you know, if somebody that's a hard situation to be in. It's kind of like imagine you're in a serious relationship and you've been with this person for a little bit, and to know that your spouse isn't supportive of something that you're super excited about, like
But
that's very discouraging.
Yeah, but there must be a reason, you know, why.
I think that's what it comes down to.
There's a disconnect somewhere.
Yeah, and you need to find out why.
Yeah, you kind
And
of
what it
need to
is.
find out why. And I feel like sometimes, you know, during the heat of the moment,
Yeah.
it's like, you know, one side is trying to convey why they're so passionate about this project, the potential. And the other side is maybe the more logical side,
Yeah, right.
trying to explain it's because we're going to financial ruins, or you're not spending enough time with the
And
family,
the
or
kids, and yeah,
and there's so much, it's so emotionally charged that no one is really listening or able to
empathize. Yeah, and empathize.
compromise with each other, come up with a solution together. So I think sometimes it's helpful to bring in a mediator, a third party, to help maybe even come up with a solution,
Yeah,
and help them compromise
because they can
on.
see it objectively.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe, the person can make a suggestion of, hey, but why don't it seems like you can afford, part time work. You don't
Hmm.
have to work full time. Why don't you just work part time and work on this passion project full time? And the other spouse can, would that make them feel better?
Yeah, right.
Right. Because if you put that stress to ease, I think it'll help, the spouse that is opposing the dream to feel more at ease and maybe
Right.
open to the idea.
Yeah. Yeah, and like we were saying too, that's a really good point. Having a third person there always helps, I think,
Mm-hmm.
but also somehow finding a way to get them involved. I know like for us, we had a couple of passion projects, even like this, right? Like the podcast that we're doing now. Like this
Yeah.
is something that I really wanted to do. Very motivated and excited, and something that I kept talking about it with you, and I was trying to get you excited to explain to you. But you had no idea. Like it came out of nowhere for you. I was like, "What's podcasting?" Or like, "What are you talking about?" Right?
Yeah.
Do you remember that conversation? And it was
Yeah.
just like, um, and it was my job, because it's my dream. I want to get you excited, and I want to include you because I know that the best way for you to support me, because you're always going to have my back, which is great, and I'm very fortunate about that. Like you'll
Mm-hmm.
support me, you'll cheerlead me on. But I think it makes it easier to support somebody if you actually know what the heck is going on,
It's
right? And what
happening.
yeah
Yeah.
and what is it the what does it involve? So this is one of the projects, and then we had other projects, same thing. Just telling you about it, I get excited, I get lit up, and then like it carries over, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't help but get excited too.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know. I guess that's the way how I always looked at it. But I can definitely see where there's issues sometimes with other spouses where that may not be the case, and you're not doing it deliberately. It's just, it
Yeah.
happens.
And keep in mind, let's say if your significant other spouse doesn't get excited for your passion
Yeah.
project, but that's okay because maybe that's not their interest.
Maybe it's not. Yeah. There's
So
definitely things that I'm interested in that you're not.
yeah, so you can't expect them to be excited for
Right.
you because maybe they don't understand, or that's just not something that excites them.
Yeah. It's like they don't need to like or get excited and lit up for the same thing that you do, but they should get excited that you're excited, right?
Yeah, or that you're doing well, or they're there to support you
Or
during
that
the
you're chasing a
down
dream.
moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what we're talking about here. And that's what I think support really is to have a shoulder for somebody, to be there. Cause sometimes, like when you think of like support from like friends and family, they might not know exactly or understand a business or a project, or, the work that you're doing,
Mhm.
but just somebody listening to you, somebody being like just giving you an outlet to like vent. I think and to know that, hey, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
That's it. That's support, right? They don't have to necessarily believe in the same thing that you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't know if you don't let them in on it.
I think that's it, right? Sometimes we're chasing our dream or something like that, and we just think, all right, I'm just gonna do this, and I'm not even gonna share it with anybody. So it's important to share your dream with other people too, especially the people that are like your significant other or close to you, right?
Yeah.
They should know what you're after.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I think that was good advice about the third party.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? kind of hit everything.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to communication, listening,
It's pretty simple, huh?
transparency, right? And if, sometimes it's helpful to have a third party,
Yeah.
right?
Good summary.
And just be respectful of each other. I think it's like sometimes it's
Ooh.
easy to, get caught up in the heat of the moment and say things you don't
To
mean,
like,
or
yeah, you don't want to say like your dream is invalid or
yeah.
stupid, or like,
Yeah.
you don't want to tear someone else's dream apart,
Yeah.
because that would be wrong too.
Yeah.
It's their dream.
Yeah. It goes both ways.
Both ways. Yeah.
Always.
Whew. Okay.
Okay, musician Will.
That's you heard it here first. I'm just kidding. You just have a blast just imagining it.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Magnetic Mismatch. Same handle for our Instagram. And of course, follow and give us a 5-star rating. Subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, so on and so forth.
Yep. And we release a new episode every Thursday.
Yes, and make sure to share. And if you think somebody else can benefit from listening to our content, we would love for you to, let them know.
Yeah.
All
Until
right.
next time.
Bye, guys.